Now, I've downloaded the data from The Guardian, the specific sheet that has the donation data, the donors and the various countries which they belong to. I've downloaded that and then re-uploaded that into my own personal Google Docs, just because I want to be able to use the data analysis. That being said, it's good practice that if you do any analysis or any manipulation, to actually make a copy of the original and work on that, just so that you don't have to trace it back if you've made a mistake. You can do multiple data manipulations on the same data set and not have to build on top of the previous ones that you've made, because that will then introduce errors. So I would suggest that you always make a duplicate, keep the original somewhere else, and always work on duplicates. Just make sure you're always duplicating the original every time you need to do it. So pivot table in Google Spreadsheet is very, very simple. We just go to Data and we select Pivot Table Report. And now there's a lot of different ways with which you can recast and reshape data in a pivot table. We're just going to do something very simply. We're just going to do one specific reshape and not have a filter and column values. But you can play around with these within the data set. So first of all, what we want to do, looking back, is we want to have a graph of the cumulative amount of donations over time. So we want, for each day, all the money that came in for that specific day. So we want it broken down by date, which means we want to add dates as the row field. So that is decision date. And so it's giving me each unique date that appeared in that field. And the values we want to fill in for each of them is the amount of donations. And now Google Spreadsheets is actually very smart. It is summarized by sum. You can do count, you can do average, but it will always do the smartest thing for you. And this here is the total. So we've got, for each day that appears, we have the total donations. That's a very, very simple pivot table. The problem is that it can only work with the data that's there and not fill in what's not there, i.e. the missing days. So we don't actually get a full chronological order. And also there are various different things that you can do, but rather than get used to this too much, I would suggest maybe learning a bit harder and different examples, just because Google Spreadsheets has a limit of 400,000 rows, so you can't deal with anything bigger than that.